All right, hello, and welcome to the Living Your Design Guide Training Open House. Gonna orient you in terms of what this upcoming training, how it's structured, and all the details, prerequisites, what it certifies you for, and what we go over, and all the modules of the training itself. So before we get there, I'll just introduce myself. I'm Peter Berv. Been in um, my experiment since 2010. Excuse me. So I'm in my 15th year. I'm a 3-5 manifesting generator, splenic sacral authority here, and across to the sleeping phoenix. So um, I'm a certified analyst since 2016 and teacher of all the foundation courses, family analyst, and teaching the guide training. So, and yeah, developing my own platform a little bit and a lot of great one-on-one connections. So, born in the 59th gate of intimacy. So I'm someone who likes to go deep with people. I like to explore, 59.3, explore intimacy in all its forms, in a safe and professional kind of way. So the LYD course is the first course in the International Human Design School. It's really something that honestly I think everyone should take at one point. And like everybody, because it's so practical and it goes over the core foundations of the matrix of who we are. And it goes over the nine centers in detail, defined, undefined, but in particular, going over the openness and the conditioned behaviors that we develop. So it's crucial knowledge for people to understand, and people do tend to bypass sometimes the most people tend to make things more complex than they need to be. Um, people love to go really deep in their studies really quickly, and they forget how the open centers, conditioned behaviors are right there, still right there. And so we've got to be careful. We've got to have an integrated approach to life, to healing, to our to studying this, because you have to really, it's designed, the human design knowledge is designed to be a step-by-step process that takes you deeper and deeper and deeper. So I feel like when you dive right into the deep stuff really quickly, you're like you start to think that the foundational knowledge isn't as important, or that hey, you got it all figured out. And something about this knowledge, it's a living knowledge. It continues to show you things. It continues to deepen in a lot of ways. So the Living Your Design course really lays this foundation for understanding, these core mechanics. And I really like to make sure to go over and explain the mechanics in a lot of detail, with the defined and open. And then we also go over the four types in detail as well. So we take time for that. From a practical perspective, it's a 12-hour course. Living Your Design is a 12-hour course. So when, taking this training, then you're certified to become a Living Your Design guide, and you're able to teach this course. So it's a 12-hour course. It's highly customizable. You can really make it your own. Now, there are some slides that the IHDS, International Human Design School, can, has for sale. I usually end up just sharing mine anyway. I feel like once people make a hefty investment, I like to be generous anyway. Um, So you have those slides available if you, and I'll show them to you down the road here. But there's so many ways to teach the Living Your Design course. People who've taken Living Your Design with different teachers will see that no one teaches it the same way, and it's kind of interesting, or could even say magical, how it can be transmitted in so many different ways. It can also be taught online. It can be taught in person. It can be a little bit of both. It's highly customizable in this sense as well, in terms of how, where you deliver this. We'll look at that. But it is considered not only the first, but the most important course for any pathway in human design. It's the first foundation course, and really intended to be the next step after a professional reading. So that was Ra's original intention, is, basically the best way to learn human design is to get a reading from a certified analyst, and then to take the Living Your Design course to basically go over in detail everything that was covered in the reading, even more. But from a spiritual perspective, or from, maybe spiritual isn't always the right word, but from another perspective, let's just say, this course really is, it really is meant to wake people up. There's something about mechanical knowledge. It sounds a little dry. It sounds a little cold and hard. When we talk about studying the mechanical knowledge of human design, but really everything in life, in the natural creation of life, has mechanics. It operates a certain way. When we understand those mechanics, we can navigate through life with awareness and flow, and less resistance. So learning about a lot of times for people, learning about their open centers is, we call it shattering. That's the word we like to use, is it's shattering. Because when you see you've been operating by certain habits your whole life, and realize it was all coming from your openness, it was all coming from that reactive conditioned behavior, and the mind trying to maintain control. It's people can have really intense experiences. We say it's shattering to, what you thought was the normal way of being, what you thought you were supposed to do, or the way you were supposed to be. But it also, that's what waking up is. Waking up to the truth, waking up to the mechanics. It's very powerful, and even though on some level it's, Living Your Design is a lot of lecture, it's a lot of someone talking. It's what comes through, and how you can lay the foundation, and that's what you're doing. You're really laying the foundation for people's human design experiment. And the more we can provide awareness of the correct mechanics up front, then we're really doing a service. We're really doing a service for people by laying that out. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to get it right away, just like all of us. You read something in human design, you don't get it right away. So coming into this as a teacher, or really a guide, you're really a guide. You have to let go of any desire to be liked or understood, or feel like you got the transmission across completely, because some things just take time to settle in. Some things just are like seeds that need to get planted to blossom in their own timing. And so that's why it's logical, practical delivery, and yet as these seeds blossom, the results, are truly life-changing and permanent. Once you see the themes of your open centers playing out, you can't unsee them. And then the experiment just deepens and the awareness deepens. So the Living Your Design course has three main modules. There's three sections. There's a live class. I'll go over each of these in detail here. There's a live class where it's a lot of lecture, a lot of going over everything from the foundation courses, or maybe not everything. There's the opportunity to go over anything you want. We're going to make sure we cover everything from the LYD course in detail, plus quite a bit extra, because as a guide, you need to know more than your students. But it really is an amazing opportunity. The live classes are really an amazing opportunity to tie together everything that you've learned in Living Your Design, Rave ABCs, Rave Cartography, or in your journey so far. It can really solidify that. There's really nothing better there's really no better way to embody the knowledge than to teach it. So that's a journey in itself. Learning to find your own words, your own ways of communicating the knowledge. You get human design, you get the knowledge, you get the system, but have you really tried transmitting it? Have you really tried supporting others with finding your own words to how to explain an open center or any other phenomena that we find in the experiment? So that also is why we have a separate practicum. So I have been doing 5 classes, 5 separate practicums. Basically, this is it's almost like another class. So we'll do somewhere between 3 and 5 classes, depending on how many people sign up. Because this is going to be where you practice, and you're going to have some specific assignments to find your own words, to find your own way to explain these things. That's such a big part of embodying human design. Practice. Talk it out. Talk through it. Find your way. If you're just thinking it, because if you're just studying human design and just reading about it and occasionally just dropping something here and there, you haven't worked that through your nervous system yet, where to be able to really fully explain it and transmit it. It takes time and practice. So we have some space for that. And then part 3 is an audit of a live Living Your Design course. So let's look at those 3 separate modules in a little more detail. We'll do a live class or live classes, which is 10 weeks, approximately 2 hours each. So right there you've got about 20 hours of material. And this is an opportunity to ask any questions, fill in any gaps. A lot of times people get into human design and then pose themselves as professionals or in one way or another, and then they don't feel like they can ask questions. They don't feel like they can be honest about where they're really at. And it takes more than one 7-year cycle to really integrate everything. It probably takes 2, 3, 4 at least. So if you have questions, this is a great time to really fortify any educational gaps. We do, like I said, we review all the material we really covered in Living Your Design, type and strategy, 7 authorities, 9 centers, defined and undefined. And then we just make sure to go over, our first 2 classes are basically going over all these different human design concepts. You know, what is um, resistance? What's the rave mandala? What is human design? What we go over a lot of core foundational understanding things that you need to really embody. You know, what are neutrinos? What's the neutrino imprinting field? Where do they come from? All so many things. So that's about 4 hours right there. Um, yeah. So this course, it is preparing you to become a certified, excuse me, a certified guide. But also we could say it's being a living your design guide. It doesn't mean you always have to teach living your design. It's kind of like almost a qualification as a mentor. It doesn't prepare you, it doesn't qualify you, it doesn't certify you to do readings necessarily. That would be the analyst training to go through that. And that analyst training takes about 2.5 years between the 4 levels of the analyst training. Right here, you have an opportunity to become a human design professional in about 3 months. So, if you're really feeling like you want to get that certification and be able to be a credible guide and mentor in the system, this is going to be the quickest professional pathway for you. So anyway, this is the live class, about 10 weeks. And the practicum is, like I was saying, is really essential. We have about, I'll say, depending on how many people sign up, 3 to 5 2-hour sessions. So again, right there, that's another 6 to 10 hours of practicing together. And then in terms of your assignments, you're gonna have to present either an audio or video or live presentation of anything specific that we'll address. You can teach a 15-minute class on the Splenic Center. You can teach I usually want to be around 15 minutes. So you're going to have about two 15-minute presentations. So most likely what I find is people don't give themselves enough credit for how much they've taken in. A lot of times once you start talking, you start to see it. It all comes out. So yeah, the goal of the practicum is eventually to have 2 15-minute presentations for me. Part 3 is a live class audit. My Living Your Design class is included in the price. I also make opportunities for you as guides in training to lead like a back end class, a back end forum. So for the students in the class, there's some leadership opportunities for you to kind of step up and guide some conversations and start practicing your guidance skills. Also, during the live, if I do a live LYD, and you join me, then sometimes I'll give a space for you to comment or to share or to add anything that I've talked about in that section. Otherwise, you're welcome to take the LYD with any other certified guide, and it's also recommended to see how other people are doing it. I mean, I'll probably include a recorded version of my LYD anyway for you to look at. So for you just to see how I run my course. But it is helpful to study with another teacher just to see how other teachers are doing it in their own way. And typically, if you audit a course as a guide in training, usually they should give you somewhere between um, at least 50% off the original course. It should be uh, 30. It's 30%. Excuse me, 30% to 50% of the original course. So just to be clear, if the course is $300 normally, it should be either 150 or um, whatever 30% of 300 is. Uh, um, my brain's not, it shouldn't really be that hard, but somehow it's not working right now. $90. Okay. Also included in the LYD guide training. So you become a certified professional in the International Human Design School. It's the certification fee is included in the cost of the course. You get a professional listing. I will include this professional listing is on the IHDS website as well as the Jovian Archive website. So you'll get your own little bio and can explain that you're an LYD guide. People can search for, they can look for different professionals in different parts of the world. They can look for professionals according to their certification. So that will be in there for you. I'll show you a visual here in a second. I'll also include a copy of Ra's LYD recordings from when he did the training, so you kind of, you're gonna get a lot of support. So that's another, I don't know, 10 something hours right there for you to listen to. He called it the LD, the living design, and it kind of morphed into living your design. And I'm also, once you sign up and make that investment, I'm pretty generous with the amount of audio and PDFs that I have for you to take advantage of to support you as a professional. Specific requirements, prerequisites for the course. You have to have taken all 3 foundation courses, Rave ABCs, Living Your Design, Rave ABCs, Rave Cartography, and have had a professional reading from a certified analyst, foundation reading. So those are the prerequisites for the class. It's good to know if the people you've been studying with are from the IHDS, because I've had people study with me, and when it came to certification time, it turned out that the person who did their reading or taught one of their classes was someone who said they were professional, but they weren't actually certified by the IHDS. So good to know. You have to obviously complete all the modules and assignments and not just pay me money. You don't just get a certification just because you threw me some cash. I need to see that you can demonstrate, what we go over in the curriculum, in the practicum, and that you show up. This is a live course, and it's a certification course. So it's, with the foundation courses, it's okay to do the downloads, watch at your own pace, and take your time with it. But this course, I really want people to show up and demonstrate a certain level of professionality. It doesn't mean I need you to be a homogenized version of what a good professional should look like. I just, if you miss classes, make lots of excuses, don't make any payments, it just tells me that you're not ready to be a professional either. And so I take this knowledge seriously. I want to keep it in its integrity. So we all have to play our part. You get to sign an integrity agreement that pertains to your specific IHDS country, whatever the main organization is in your country. If you're from Brazil, you're going to sign the I whatever the Human Design Brazil Integrity Agreement kind of thing. So it's IHDS, International Human Design School. They just have certain professional standards. Um, so I can eventually show you what the integrity agreement looks like. They're not necessarily policing people or. So I personally, I just like to stick to the source material. I like to, um, I trusted what my guides taught me, and so I kind of deliver it back in the same way. Without, because a lot of people like to be kind of rebellious and freaky and just do things totally their own way, which is great. But also not at the expense of giving this away or or getting kind of putting too much of your own spin on the knowledge. Anyway, I'm kind of going off here. Um, so you can also you have to create an account with the IHDS school. That's part of the steps just to getting your own listing, and then you can order the Living Your Design Teacher Manual. I also have a copy. I'm happy to share PDF. And then I was saying also, if you want the IHDS Living Your Design slides, that's an additional cost. I think it's $135. Optional, but recommended. And like I said, I'll probably share mine with you too anyway. So these are just some screenshots from the IHDS. So here's like over here, this is where you can see there's a professional listing on you go to the IHDS.com professionals. You can look anywhere in the world. You can look up their qualification. You can look up their name, and so yeah, you'll get your listing there. Over here, this is just another visual for the digital downloads for the slides. Like I said, I'll probably just get them for you anyway. But you're welcome to buy that too. And this is a little bit what they look like here. This is this might be they might be some updated versions, but this is just like a little version of what some of the slides look like right now. To be honest, the slides are pretty underwhelming, but that's also an opportunity for you to add your own touch. You can change the fonts, you can add pictures, you can add your own slides. I've been making my own slides as I've gone along, and to fortify something I'm trying to really transmit. Gather some other information from some other places, or visuals or audio or whatever it might be. You can really, like I said, highly customizable. You can make it your own. So for you, as somebody who is considering this course, here's some things to consider. So here we are, just about to head into 2025. And obviously this course, I'll talk about dates for the course, but it'll either way, it's going to be in the new year, so it'll be in 2025. So yeah, we're less than 2 years to 2027. Now is the time. If you are passionate about waking up and waking other people up, and recognize the importance of having some credibility and a certification to be able to do that with this human design knowledge, it really helps. So, well, what are you here for? What's your purpose? It doesn't mean you have to be a full-time living your design guide, but in terms of teaching the course, but being a mentor, being like a certified mentor and having that knowledge solidified is going to help you and it's going to help other people. And I think in a world where people don't understand their open centers, like I said, this is a real service. It's a real um, way to change the frequency of the planet by educating people about their life and their design. So obviously, I can hear I'm passionate about it. I'm not just here to make some money. I genuinely want to see people live their authentic lives and wake up as themselves. And so it's really easy to get, you know, it's easy to get stuck and even on a human design path. And so um, having the knowledge and awareness to continue and the support of a community to stay committed to this process is wonderful. So yeah, it's a living knowledge. As you learn to teach it, you'll see things you didn't see before. Um, it's really been quite mind-blowing for me to recognize that, like I was saying, it's not linear. It's not a black and white or a linear process. There's something magical about this system and this knowledge because it's life. It just shows us that, when we live by our design, it actually helps us tap into the matrix of life and in its natural order. So it's it's kind of like even if you're studying the foundations and the basics, it still can lead to revelations. I'm still seeing things. Even on them, it's almost like the deeper and the longer I'm in my experiment, the things that have been right there in front of you the whole time are suddenly more profound. I don't know how to explain it, but every area we study is like an entry point into transcendence. And so it doesn't matter how deep it is. When you can really live out the correctness of your type and strategy and authority and your centers and the wisdom in your centers, you have the opportunity for transcendence. So learning to teach this, embodying this knowledge, because you have to if you're going to become a guide, you also continue to grow. So it's really a journey. I mean, a lot of times I feel like I'm having more revelatory experiences than some of my students sometimes because they're all hearing these things for the first time or still just dabbling in it. And I'm going, oh, I'm putting all the pieces together in a whole new level I didn't even see before. And so yeah, you do continue to grow. So something to consider is why are you becoming an LYD guide? Are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it for others? Some people just some people take this course just for themselves. They don't necessarily know or they're not necessarily sure if they want to teach the the Living Your Design course. But like I was saying, we go back over everything and fill in all the gaps. So it really it's almost like in some ways it really feels like a great mini course, mini training to take after the three foundation courses because somehow it feels like it ties it all together. And yeah, you could go back and listen to all your downloads of all your courses over and over and over again. But the way we structure this course, it really helps tie it all together. So there's yeah, it's something to recognize for yourself. Are you doing it just for yourself? Are you doing it because you want to become a professional? Um, do you have the energy for it? Some people want to they just want to plow straight ahead. People like to devour the knowledge. And there's something about the human design knowledge which at one point or another you we hit these walls in a way where we kind of learn for better or worse or for the hard way or not that we've got to pace ourselves because you can study, 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 and eventually you have to live it. You've got to put down the books, put down the knowledge, go out and actually live it for a bit. A lot of times that's when people start to think when they get saturated on the knowledge that oh, I'm done with human design, I must be done. And honestly, I always say that's when you graduate because that's when you realize it's not about taking it all in. It's about integrating it and seeing things and living it out. I like to give this metaphor. It's like inheriting a hardware store. It's great if you inherit a hardware store. It's wonderful. You got all the parts. You got all the things you you could need to build anything. But if you don't actually go out and build anything, what's the point? And maybe your purpose of what you're here to build only requires a few things on aisle 9 and not the whole store. So, just make sure you have the right relationship to what's bringing you here. If it's just for yourself, if it's to teach, that's all great, but make sure you run it by your strategy and authority and it's not just a mental um, you know, are you trying to prove something? Are you trying to, do you have two open head centers? Do you have an open heart? Are you, um, you know, make your decisions from your strategy and inner authority rather than um, a mental place. So I'm a generator. I'm a manifesting generator. I, we, just like all of us, sometimes we forget. We need to be asked. We need a response because I'd be going, I should do this. I should do this. I should do this. This is going to be good. All this mental story. And then someone can go, Peter, is this really the right thing for you? And I could go, mm-mm. Oh, God, I'm glad someone asked because that would have been quite a commitment, time, money, energy, so enter into this correctly so you know it's the right thing for you. And I only want people to do this if it's right for them. So in terms of cost, um, you know, I my normal full cost is 1,800. This is a certification course. So, you're going to be certified to teach this and charge money for it. So you make that money back after one or two courses at the most. I mean, I can't promise that, but that what we'll see here coming up is yeah, you can charge between $300 and $400 a head for this course. You get four people, 4 people in there, you make it back after one class. And then I do have it on sale now until the new year, but that really leads to um, when are we starting? And I tentatively have January 8th, 2025 as a start date, but I I was really just trying to put a date out to get some feelers out there, but I think I'm going to push it out until after the Rave New Year. Um, and so probably either late January, somewhere between late January and let's just say even up to March 1st. So we'll probably start sometime before March. So if you're interested, I can extend the early bird cost. That's like secondary. That's no big deal. I'm pretty easy about that stuff. But let me know. some. When do you want to start? When would you like to start? I'm looking at Wednesdays. It also depends on where are you in the world. If everyone is in, um, in Europe, that's great for me because I can teach my class during my workday, and you get it at the end of your workday. Um, if everyone's here in the States, I can, you know, um, make it work for everybody towards the end of the day if that's what they need. Just yeah, every people have a lot of non-traditional, lot of flex work hours these days. So I typically like to just do stuff in the middle of the day, and then somehow it works for everyone since this is such an international community. But otherwise, I am happy to do a payment plan. Just set up an agreement, um, and we'll make it work. If you go to my personal website, you'll see it's on sale. I have this date here right now, not set in stone by any means. Most likely we're going to extend it about a month or 6 weeks or something. So peterberv.com, and you go to my course registrations page. Uh, so just some other things about your living your design once you get your class up and running. Um, you know, people wonder, who's going to take my course? Every one of us has our own unique fractal. It's a term we use in human design. It's just another way of saying you're going to attract the people who are right for you, and everyone does. And when you live correctly, then you open that door more for the right people to resonate with your way, and they come. So, and there's plenty of people on the planet. There's plenty of abundance for this all to go around. So yeah, you attract your people. You can't anything in human design. We're not here to compare ourselves. So if you see the way that I teach it, or someone else teaches it, or you saw a video where someone had 40 people in their class or whatever, just don't compare yourself to other people's experiences. You're going to find your way. Or maybe you saw when one person only does one-on-ones. Well, you don't need to do one-on-ones. You can do it your way. And we do have a whole the last two classes in the 10 live classes are all dedicated to the business side of living your design. So, how to set up your class, how to charge for your class, all the practical details. There's a million practical details. I've personally taught the LYD about 20 times, maybe a little maybe like 18 times or something like that. So I've been through it quite a bit, and yeah, I forget what I was going with that, but I found my own ways to teach it. I don't need to compare myself. Um, Now, in terms of student requirements for the people who come to your course, it used to be that you needed a foundation reading before you went to the LYD. That requirement has been nixed, just so everyone can do what's right for them and afford what's right for them. Because getting a reading and the course, well, that was the basis of that decision, which was it's expensive to do all that. So sometimes people just feel like they want to do the LYD course and then do their own self-study about their own chart. So yeah, see what's right for you. Um, there's a student manual you can get from uh, in the States. You can order it from Human Design America, and over in Europe you can order it from Human Design UK. You know, otherwise, there's PDFs available, which I can happily share with you. Yeah, some people who come to your LYD course, they they may be coming to you just for that, fortification of past their foundation reading, or they just may want to learn some of the basics of human design. Um, when I say here, it's not a professional training. Um, it's a training to learn how to live your design. It's not a training for the human design knowledge. You don't need to teach the knowledge. This is why you're a guide. This is kind of the difference is a a teacher is going to teach the knowledge, get the knowledge of the system across. They can read all that in the book, in the student manual. They can read all that. The a guide, the gift of a guide is to really validate people, to really give context for ways that they can live their experience and recognize the correctness of it and take the blame off anything. And so, you know, what's it like to be, a generator living with a bunch of manifestors? Or, what's it like to have, 8 defined centers, or be a reflector with 9 open centers? And what have your experiences been with interacting with that and learning about that? And it's like I said, we tend to not give ourselves enough credit, and tend to uh, there's almost like a little shame about sharing our own experience. But sharing sharing your experience, being an example for others, is empowering. We're here to empower others. So it's taken me a little bit, over the years to settle into, the right way to tell personal stories, to give people validation that they're on the right track, and it's not a problem. I'm a 3-5, so trial and error, lots of experimenting, lots of mistakes along the way, and people can really be put at ease in their experiments. So it's really a great place to start, and to support people to start their journey off right, and you can really help that by by the encouragement of a guide, and fortified understanding of the knowledge, but also of the experience. So, all right. On that note, I think that kind of gets through everything. So, again, I don't have a specific date you set yet. I did have a date, and then some people kind of got a little shifty. So, I'm really open to extending this and seeing who else wants to show up. And if you're, maybe if you're, yeah, well, yeah, just reach out directly. Let me know where you're at. Um, a conversation can't hurt. So, reach out, let's connect and see if this is the right course for you. Obviously, if you're still here and checking this out, it gives you a sense if I'm the right teacher for you, if you like the sound of my voice, if you think you can listen to the sound of my voice, keeping you engaged for, that 20, 30 hours of material over a few months or more, plus the actual audit, 50 hours of Peter. Um, you know, I do try to keep things engaged and real, and a little humorous here and there when I can. So anyway, that's it for now. So thanks for watching.